Oh, shit. Go.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is going to be the 2012 NBA playoff preview. It's finally here, and this is definitely the most exciting time of the year for me. So, let's not waste any time. Let's get right down to it. We're going to start with the Eastern Conference. I mean,
Hey. Hey, I'm here too, man.
yeah, I
It's
know.
not
No,
like this is not one of your normal vids
they know,
where it's
yeah.
just you.
Yeah, so you don't have to click out of the video.
Yeah.
All right, so, all right, number one, we have the Chicago Bulls taking on the number eight seed, the Philadelphia 76ers. I would like to say that Philly has a legit chance. I would like to say that, but I can't because Philly's been having a lot of problems in the locker room. They've been playing terrible. They really felt falling off. We expected them to be like playing Indiana, maybe in the fifth seed, so we could see Indiana and Philly at that 4-5 matchup. But that's not going to happen. It's I don't know, man. What do you think of Philly's chances? I say they have no chance in hell.
They tanked to get this matchup because everybody's terrified of Miami in the playoffs. uh, I I don't know why. I mean, obviously they have two really good defenders out there at all times with Iggy and Elton Brand. Their center position isn't really locked down right now. Vucevic could be good in the future, but right now he's still too raw. Spencer Hawes is clearly going to be a backup center most of his career. He's not a real starter. The Maurice Spates trade is looking like a big mistake right now. They really could use him here, to match Taj Gibson's fire, but he's doing that in Memphis right now. I, I don't see how they're going to do anything. Even if Rose is hurt, I would still pick the Bulls over them. And probably a sweep. Everybody's like they aren't connecting with Doug Collins at all right now. This might be the most lopsided matchup in the playoffs right here.
I guess they have the mindset because Derrick Rose is hurt. That's why they want to play Chicago. But
I mean, they have the luxury of being able to stick Andre Iguodala on him, and he can probably limit what Rose does anyway. But still, they don't have enough to overcome everything else they have, though.
I mean, defensively, is this the two best defensive teams in the league?
In the Eastern Conference, no, Miami's the. If you're talking about points wise, 76ers technically are.
They are two of the top five, right?
Yes. But I would have to put Miami at number 2.
Well, with this series, man, it'd be interesting to see how Derrick Rose responds. I mean, he's had a really, really tough season.
Did you see what he said?
What did he say?
He blamed all his injuries on the team doctors because he would rather wear ankle braces than them medically taping his ankles.
Wow.
So Derrick Rose knows more than doctors. Whatever. I don't make $200 million selling shoes.
Well, let me just touch on this, and I know you probably hate it when I bring up the last lockout playoffs. But, I thought, besides Duncan, I would say Sprewell was probably the best player during that playoff run when they took the Knicks to the finals. But, people forget Sprewell was hurt that whole regular season, and then he just turned it on for the playoffs. So I can see Derrick Rose, with this, you just never know. He might just be spectacular.
It's a bit different. It's a bit different because that was one injury. Derrick Rose has literally had, I don't know, 12 different injuries?
We could go through, the turf toe, the ankle, the groin. There's so many, but the bottom line is he's somewhat healthy though right now. I mean, there's just nagging injuries. There's nothing too serious. He's proven that he can play through pain. I think he had a hurt ankle when they played Miami last year.
I don't know, if he could get hurt in the series right now.
Yeah. But, even if he does get hurt, I mean, you got two really tremendous backup point guards.
Oh, yeah. Even if he gets hurt and is gone, I'd still heavily favor them.
All right, so as far as Philly goes, Iguodala's been getting booed in Philly, recently. I mean, he has not been playing well. I mean, who on this team really needs to – I think they need one guy to really take them on their back and really carry the load offensively.
God, and the only guy –
if you want to pick one guy, you would say Lou Williams, right?
Yeah, and he's opting out of his contract.
he want to start? Like, does he mind coming off the bench? Because to me, he's their best scorer.
Yeah, he's their best
Not
offensive
only
player.
is he average at most, but to me, he just seems like he's naturally, knows how to score more than anyone else on that team.
I don't know where he's going to end up. I don't like. He's even said even if we get past the first round, I'm gone because he doesn't like Doug Collins so much.
Really? Wow,
Yeah.
wow. And to me, Evan Turner and Elton Brand obviously he's not the same Elton Brand from a couple years ago, but they just seem very, very inconsistent. It's probably the most inconsistent team in the league.
Yeah, and they opened the season really well. I mean, they've played that defense all year.
Not off to an amazing start.
Yeah.
I mean, but man, Chicago's just. I know you don't want to give Thibodeau his props as coach of the year, but
no, I said he would be too if he knew how to manage injuries.
Yeah. All right. So what do you? So you say Chicago definitely sweep the series with a healthy Derrick Rose or not?
I do not see how they win a game. Chicago, like, it's going to take Evan Turner instantly clicking it on. Same thing for Vucevic. I just don't see how they can win a game. Drew Holiday is not playing as well as he was last year at the same time. Jody Meeks has fell off a cliff. When was the last time you even heard anything from him?
He's been putting up. I think he's been the best player on the team lately.
I don't know. I mean,
when Iguodala went out, he seemed to be kind of carrying the load. But the bottom line is, it's just last year they had more momentum heading into the playoffs, and they actually beat Miami in one of the games in the first round. This year, you can't even see them doing that.
No.
And I could see them I could see Chicago holding them to like 67 points, maybe in the first couple games.
Probably.
I just can't see them scoring a lot, especially in Chicago.
No. And I don't think they have enough defensively to stop what they do, especially if Rip is healthy.
Do you want to say anything else about Chicago? Rip Hamilton. He hasn't really played them much this season. Do you have anything to say about those guys?
When he's on the floor, they're a different team. Because he gives them spacing, which Derrick Rose absolutely needs, along with those other 2 point guards. Without him there, they'll just sag down. They'll just pack the paint because they can. They don't have anything to worry about. Luol Deng.
Oh yeah, and Luol Deng's been kind of banged up. How does he look?
He still has those 2 torn ligaments in his wrist that require surgery at this season. But he's been playing 40 minutes a game. He actually leads the league.
Shooting it well though, man.
Yeah. Again, left hand is not as bad as torn ligaments in your right hand.
So it's left hand?
Yeah, it's left hand. But yeah, I don't see how they do.
To me, the main difference between this year and last year, and I think we talked about it a million times, is Boozer and Noah. They've been healthy all season, pretty much.
Boozer hasn't missed a game.
Wow.
Unless they benched him tonight, I don't know.
All right. I guess we could just move on. It was safe to say Chicago will pretty much easily take this series.
4 or 5 games max.
All right, so let's move on to the next round. The winner of that series will play the winner of Boston and Atlanta. This is a rematch from the 2008 NBA playoffs in the first round when Atlanta actually took Boston to 7 games. I think Atlanta was the 8th seed. Boston was number 1. That was a hell of a series. I don't know if this is going to live up to that. It probably should. Boston's going to have the home court advantage. I think they won tonight, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they're the 4th seed. They were indeed the 4th seed.
It looked like Paul Pierce kind of, I think he got hurt tonight, but I think he's okay. Ray Allen's health seems to be the biggest question mark heading into the series.
Who, Al Horford?
No, Ray Allen.
Again, he's really pissed at management right now, too. He's also said he's a goner since they tried to trade him unsuccessfully. Again,
there's been trade rumors with him for a while.
Yeah,
you mentioned Al Horford. What's his status for the Atlanta Hawks?
I heard he was supposed to play tonight. Again, I haven't been watching Dallas because I was.
Now, if you do get him back healthy, I mean that pretty much changes everything.
He did not play tonight, but he is supposedly, like, he's saying he can play in this series. Again, it's been months since he's been in an NBA rhythm basketball game. You don't know how that's going to be. If he's there, that is huge because unlike most of the centers Kevin Garnett has been defending against, he can probably not handle Horford. And if Horford's there, that probably gives him a huge advantage. But if he's not ready,
He doesn't have to play well offensively as long as
no, he'll still be able to rebound.
Yeah, rebound is the key. Yeah.
Like, this will probably be pretty close. I could see this going 7 if he's fine. If he's completely out of whack, like rebounding timing's off, defensively he's and offensively he's nothing.
Yeah,
Probably Boston in 6.
I would definitely agree with that. You know, the thing that worries me about Atlanta is they could literally blow teams out at home. I mean, they actually have a pretty good home court. They're not that bad. But you know what worries me about them is Josh Smith. Like, he just takes so many bad shots in the playoffs. It's not even funny. And I think Rondo will pretty much kill Jeff Teague.
Yeah. Given that Rondo is one of the best defensive point guards in the league, Jeff Teague's not a very good defender. He's not good enough offensively to get around Rondo without a pick. Rondo's probably completely shut him down.
And let's not forget, Boston's pretty much been, one of the hottest teams in the league since the All-Star break.
The play of Rondo and Bradley. Rondo is starting to hit jump shots that people are conceding him now.
And Avery Bradley, right? Where's what was he last summer in the draft?
22, and that's off the top of my head, not looking because I just looked that up recently. But around there.
Yeah, he's been spectacular. So yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree. We'll say Boston in about 6.
It all depends on Horford. Horford's good,
right. And he hasn't played one game since he got hurt.
No, he was supposed to play tonight, but didn't.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens there. All right, so the next playoff series, we'll go right into the Miami Heat and the New York Knicks. This is all right. Let me just say this: the last time there was an NBA lockout, the Knicks were the 8th seed, and they upset Miami, who was the number 1 seed. So it's pretty much the same kind of situation. This would be crazy if the Knicks pull off the upset again.
That was 13 years ago, man.
It's totally, 1999. But
Mike Woodson has a history of these first round playoff series. Remember, that's why he was fired in the first place.
Yeah, you're right.
And we already got rumors circulating that if he loses,
this is totally different though. That Knicks team was spectacular. I mean, they had no business being the 8th seed. I mean, that Miami team was kind of overrated. I mean, they were terrible offensively, even though they were the number 1 seed. This is a totally different animal, so you really can't compare it to that. But I mean, what is your take on this? Do the Knicks have a chance, even without Jeremy Lin?
No.
I mean, talent-wise, you got Chandler, Amari, and Carmelo. In my opinion, Carmelo's been the best player in the league over the last couple weeks. I mean, he's offensively, it's been the best scorer in the game. You can't really argue that. I mean, if he gets hot, I could definitely see them winning at least 2 games.
No. I don't think this series is going to be pretty.
I mean, the main thing I'm worried about for the Knicks is the point guard position. Just getting the ball up the court. I think that's the biggest problem.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have a point guard that can match up with LeBron James. That's true.
They're going to murder Baron Davis and Bibby. It's not going to be pretty, man.
Damn.
But I would say down low, like underneath the boards, I would say the Knicks probably have the advantage.
Yeah, but Amari throughout his career has never been able. Well, he didn't play defense, period. But Bosh usually kills him. both sides of the ball. And plus he's got the back thing. I don't know, like, I still don't know why he's playing. Is the state of his injury? If he just does one thing wrong,
Well, I just think they're trying to get him back in the rhythm.
yeah. But again, that disc is still,
It's a bulging disc, right?
yeah. If he takes one hard fall, he's Dwight Howard territory.
Wow, wow.
Like, I still don't understand why that. Like, I understand it's playoffs, but you got this guy on $100 million contract. If he gets hurt seriously now, he might be gone a while. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't see how. I mean, they'll probably put Chandler on Bosch on defense.
And I don't know, man. With Miami, Miami's kind of banged up too, though. With Dwayne Wade, he's got a dislocated finger. LeBron's still banged up from that elbow.
Yeah, but fingers and elbows are a bit different from backs.
Yeah, I know. But I don't know. Just Miami's not coming into the playoffs with a lot of momentum.
They weren't last year either.
No, you're right.
And look what they did. And then people would say that they weren't really a whole team, and they went, 12-3 before the finals?
You try to look for excuses as to why Miami might, slip a little bit, but you really can't. You really can't say much.
They've improved since last year. Mike Miller and Udonis are healthy now instead of coming back from injuries in the middle of the playoffs. They have Shane Battier now,
who's been kind of disappointing. I think LeBron relies on.
He's not there for offense.
The fourth quarter, LeBron passed up a shot to give it to Battier.
LeBron just. Oh, you going?
I was just gonna say defensively, he hasn't been as we expected.
He's actually number 2 in the league right now.
Really?
Yeah, at his position, he hold like. All right, advanced stats haven't really caught on.
I'm just going by the games that I saw.
Okay, well, all right.
So that doesn't really say.
You know what PER is, and you know that how there isn't really individual stat to measure defense.
Right.
Well, if you go by advanced statistics, there is, and that is the PER the opponent averages when you're defending against them. Andre Iguodala leads that league in the league for small forwards, and he's holding guys to a 9 PER when they're faced up against him. Shane Battier's at a 10. LeBron is at a 10.5.
Wow.
So they have 2 out of the top 3 best defensive wings out there, and Dwayne is freaking great too.
Oh, well, I believe you. I mean, we said Shane Battier was going to, make a big difference.
Yeah, and that's all I care about him defensively.
And while we're on the subject of Miami, I mean, if they do not win the championship this year, can you see Calipari coming to Miami, given the relationship that him and LeBron have?
No. I don't think Riley's ever going to fire Spoelstra.
Really?
No.
Okay.
That's all. That's a ESPN cooked up story. Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't know ESPN talked about that.
No, they've been putting that out all the time.
Okay.
Plus what they're going to get this offseason.
Yeah, and that too. But as far as the series goes, I'm excited about it just because of the atmosphere. I think Miami playing in the Garden during the playoffs, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Short but sweet, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh God, what's next?
All right, so next we'll have number 3 versus number 6. This is probably going to be like the least hype first round playoff series.
Excuse me, I was wrong. This is going to be the most lopsided playoff series in this playoffs. This Magic team, no Dwight, no Hito.
Big Baby Davis is hurt too, right?
He says he's going to play, but I don't think he is. Indiana, by the way, had the best free agent acquisition of last offseason, getting David West
and George Hill.
Those assholes. That was a trade.
The guy from the Hornets.
Yeah, yeah, they did.
But it's not just him though.
No,
We talk about most improved. I mean, you got to put Hibbert up there too, right?
yeah, but
The dude was like people used to make fun of him a couple years ago because he was so awkward. But I mean, the dude's really worked on his game.
oh yeah, he was an all-star this year. But
And without Dwight Howard, I mean, he's pretty much like the really only legit big man in the East.
uh, Andrew Bogut got traded, so yeah. And this playoffs definitely.
So you got to feel bad for Stan Van Gundy.
Well, he's this is terrible too. I don't know what's going to happen first. Is he's going to get fired or that he quits? I
I
think
don't
he's
know.
going to quit. Uh, I'm pretty sure he's gone. I'm pretty sure Dwight will get traded this offseason. I don't know how soon, because if he gets traded draft day to the Nets, the whole Darren to Dallas thing will probably never happen. That team is such a mess. I don't even know why.
It's the most chaotic
Like
story of the league.
they really should have just given him to Dwight and just sent him off to Brooklyn now and just gotten on with this franchise because this is horrible what they're
The
doing
Nets were
right
going to
now.
have. The only reason it didn't happen was because the Nets had to give up way too many guys, and Dwight that didn't appeal to Dwight.
Yeah, he wants him to be loaded when he goes
What
there.
was the proposed deal if that was going to go through?
Uh, Gerald Wall's looking to be going down there. Brooke Lopez, Marshawn Brooks, Anthony Morrow, and a bunch of picks.
Wow. Okay, that was all.
Would have been a 3-team trade with Portland.
Okay.
And then they tried to trade him to the Lakers, and that's where he opted into his contract to block that trade.
All right. So getting back to this series, I mean, Indiana's been extremely hot going into the playoffs. But at the same time, they can be beat though. The Knicks actually beat them back to back. Um, I wouldn't say they're like unbeatable, but given that Orlando's so hurt right now and just lacking in firepower, I mean, what does Orlando have to do if they have any chance of even pulling off one game in this series? I mean, I would think Redick needs to get really hot. Jameer Nelson needs to play the
Like
game.
that is the only way they have. Stan Van Gundy has to hope one of his 3-point shooters gets really hot. That is the only way.
And they got
'Cause
multiple 3-point shooters. The problem is they don't have anyone to draw double teams now, so I think they're fucked, really.
yeah, like if Indiana doesn't sweep and the win that Orlando gets isn't a fluke,
Yeah.
where they just hit a bunch of shots, they like actually had a game plan, implemented it, and then it worked. And Indiana loses that way. If they don't sweep this team, they're suspect on getting further.
Well, I mean, they're a good playoff team too. I mean, they gave Chicago a really, really good run for the money last year, so I don't have any doubts about that.
And they're so much better this year.
Oh, definitely. So we have, and on top of that, they have a great playoff mentality too. They got guys. Well, I guess Jeff Foster's not there anymore, but they got like Bill Lambiers, guys that would just knock your block off. You know, they're a pretty old school team. I guess maybe Larry Bird's to credit for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so that's the Eastern Conference. Do you want to just go to the West or?
Yeah.
All right. So, Western Conference. The number one seed out West actually is going to be the San Antonio Spurs, and they'll be taking on the Utah Jazz. Utah just barely got in. They beat Phoenix the other night. I would like to say that Utah would have a legit chance here because I think they are a very, very solid team. But the problem is San Antonio is not going to – there's no chance in hell they're going to get beat in the first round again as the number one seed. And, obviously they're just a much better team now without Richard Jefferson. They just have more guys that are fit Popovich's system. And on top of that, the big three are extremely healthy going in. So I would say San Antonio in about 5 games.
I could see it going to 6 because Utah's big man rotation is probably the best in the league. Definitely the most underrated. You have Al Jefferson, Paul Millsap, Derek Favors, and his cancer. That is probably the one deficiency that San Antonio has is that they only have one good post defender, and that's Tim Duncan. And when he's having to deal with a 24-year-old power forward, That's probably going to be a matchup issue. But, yeah, San Antonio's so deep, and they got, like, since the trade deadline, they've gotten Steven Jackson, Patty Mills, and Boris Diaw, who are all quality, actually, really quality players. They're oh God. They have 3 rookies that don't play like rookies. Kawhi Leonard is a great defender. With the exception of that one advantage down low, Utah is just completely overmatched in every way. And yeah, 5 games probably. Although it'll be competitive though.
And I know you probably say Tony Parker would annihilate Devin Harris.
Oh,
But
he's been
Devin
so
Harris
inconsistent this year.
has beaten San Antonio in the playoffs before. So let's give him some credit.
I don't know. He's been so inconsistent since he got traded. This year, at least. I mean, he's been playing good lately, but he's been playing just as much badly as he has good.
And yeah, they just have, like I said, I'm very high on this team. They got a lot of guys that could score. Millsap, Al Jefferson. Someone even said Al Jefferson is probably better than Tim Duncan at this stage. I mean, I think everyone pretty much agree with that. And
now,
yeah. What do you think about
yeah.
And on top of that, I just think they have a great crowd. I think they're a really, really awesome home team. But at the same time, you don't know what you're going to get with them on the road. I mean, you could easily blow them out on the road. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. But talk about the Spurs. I mean, how good is this team now? I mean, people are giving what's the general manager's name?
R.C. Buford.
They're giving him the GM of the Year award because of the guys that they've given pop in the system. What do you think about that? I mean, would you agree with that?
I think it's got to be Bird because of the Pacers turnaround, but he's a close second. Just in terms of what they've added, who they drafted. The fact that the number 1 guy on their board fell with them in the middle of the first round is nuts. It shows you how more advanced the Spurs scouting is to everybody else in the league. Yeah,
and these guys. I mean, from Thiago Splitter, Danny Green, Gary Neal. I mean, they got so many guys that people have never heard of, but these guys are really solid. I mean, they won a game last night without Parker, Ginobili, and Duncan. They beat Phoenix last night without the big 3. So,
yeah,
this team. I mean, would you say this might be San Antonio's best
offensive team? Yes.
And since when?
Since Tim Duncan's been a Spur, this is their best offensive team.
Wow, that says a lot.
Defensively, hell no, because you had Twin Towers down there for a long time. But offensively, this is the best they've ever been.
And on top of that, they got Steven Jackson back, who's a great fit for San Antonio. Why did he leave again? I guess he just got offered more money from
yes.
I guess Atlanta.
Yeah. I can't remember what it was. I don't. Yeah. Of course, now he's in a stage of his career where he doesn't care about that as much.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to the next round. I mean, we said San Antonio in about 5 games, right?
Yeah.
All right. So number 4 and number 5, I guess Memphis.
You don't want to put this one last because I'm going to go for a while on this one.
Oh, why don't we talk about it now? Because San Antonio play the winner.
Oh, man.
Yeah, let me start off like this. All right, so we got Memphis at number 4, Clippers at number 5. Clippers lost their home court advantage. Everyone thought they were going to pretty much have it, but they blew it. But, if Memphis does win this series, the Spurs will get a shot at Memphis again to kind of redeem themselves from last year. But as far as the series goes, I mean, I'll just let you take it. I know you got a lot to say about Mr. DeAndre Jordan.
He's the third part of my thing. All right. As y'all have known since we've been doing these for a while, I'm a Hornets fan. So I've watched Chris Paul for years, and I know the Southwest Division and mostly the people in the NBA who Chris Paul can't score against. Number 1 would be Jose Calderon, surprising to most people. Number 2, Kyle Lowry. Number 3, Mike Conley. But even if Mike Conley is not on the guy, is not on Chris Paul, all they have to do is put Tony Allen on him, because the Clippers don't have a two guard worth a damn to hold his attention. Ever since the Chauncey injury, they're way too dependent on Chris Paul. You can't, like, if the Hornets had been healthy going to the playoffs last year, Chris Paul would have had David West and Carl Landry, who are sure scorers. Everybody else on the team is, you don't know what they're going to get from them. But David West and Carl Landry were consistent scorers. David was hurt, so that meant Carl Landry was the only guy. Chris Paul does not have a single guy like that on this team. Blake Griffin is extremely athletic, and he uses that athleticism to grab a lot of boards. But I've never seen a guy's free throw percentage drop by 5% every month. Over these last 10 games, he's actually shooting 37% from the line, which is terrible going into the playoffs. Have you ever heard of that? A guy getting worse at something as the season went on?
I was watching the game last night, and I was just like, Jesus, what the hell is the problem?
And that's covering, like, I guess Blake doesn't have work ethic. I guess he's the new Shaq. I guess that's his deal. Except he's not going to last as long, because the way he plays, he can get hurt again easily and not have that jumping ability anymore. He's already done it once. And that's not even covering DeAndre Jordan, and here's the thing about DeAndre Jordan. Graves Vasquez, you know who he is, right?
Yes.
Would you call him a great player? Would you call him
Vasquez from where? The
Hornets right now, and he was on Memphis last year. Would you call him a great player?
We're talking about the Vasquez from Maryland that's on the Hornets right now?
Yes, that is the Graves Vasquez.
He's a very, very solid NBA player.
But is he great?
No.
All right. If you're a great defensive center, should a okay point guard be able to eliminate everything you do defensively just by altering their shot to where you can't jump high enough to block it?
No.
How is that going to stop Marc Gasol from altering the angle of his hook shot about 5 degrees to where DeAndre Jordan can't touch it? I mean, all he does is jump every time. I literally saw him jump and kick Lance Thomas in the face trying to block a shot when Lance pump faked. This is his 4th year in the league, going on 5th, and he's still awful. And
he's let me just say this: he's not the player that I thought he was. Obviously, you see him in the highlights, you're like, wow, this guy could really get up. He's got great length. No. When you hear Chris Paul say, "Man, I'm coming to the Clippers. I'm looking forward to play with Blake and DeAndre," I'm like, holy shit! Chris Paul's making it out to be like this is his own big three. So when you do get to see this dude play, you're just very, very disappointed. He needs a lot of work. He's just he's just one of those dudes that he's big, so that's why he plays basketball.
It's been 4 years.
Yeah, at the same time, you got to give him a little bit of slack, because when you're that big, it's just a lot harder.
He ain't got much left.
Yeah,
he's got about a shoestring worth of slack left. Again, and the reason I'm talking about the deficiencies of Blake Griffin, and
I know he's crapping on Blake Griffin, but he's definitely improved not only his post game, but just some of those moves. Dropping the basket from the base.
He's gonna get fouled a lot in this series, and if he's not gonna hit those free throws, what's the point?
And he's gonna get fouled hard. I mean, this is a lot of guys in the league that are jealous of him. They just don't want to get posterized.
But yeah, they're going to be taken to school by Marc Gasol and Zach Randolph. I'm going to laugh of glee.
I'm kind of worried about Zach Randolph's conditioning, though. I know he hasn't been. I mean, he's the type of guy that I think needs to be in shape to be effective.
Oh, I think he's been playing enough that he'll probably be fine by then.
Think so?
Yeah.
But, I mean, Memphis is, come on, man. I mean, last year they upset the Spurs. I mean, this team is for real. This is a very, very well-rounded team. They got so many weapons. The Clippers are going to have a really, really tough time. Chris Paul, I could see him really, really getting angry. I know he said he doesn't just want to win right now; he has to win right now. But that's not going to happen. I don't know. It's a shame Chauncey's not there, but you do have Nick Young. You do have some other options like Mo Williams, but I
Like,
don't know, man.
do the Clippers have anybody that can guard Rudy Gay?
No, no,
Like, and even if Chauncey's healthy, do they have that?
nope.
Like, this is the absolute team they don't want to play because it's their worst matchup because it's literally like a chess match where the other guy takes the piece with every move and you don't do shit.
What can they do with Kenyon Martin defensively?
Kenyon Martin?
I mean, the guy's had 2 double microfractures, but
He's got 6 fouls. That's about it.
how does he look like as far as mobility?
Oh, Kenyon's fine. From what I've seen, he's fine. He still can jump.
But do you think Nick Young is helped the situation?
Yes.
Sounds going to look great.
Again, Chris Paul can get anybody open shots, and if you can, it's going to be extremely hard since he's going to have Tony Allen on him.
All right, so if the Clippers have any chance in hell of winning this series, Chris Paul, he's pretty much going to have to duplicate what he did last year, probably times maybe he's going to have to really take it to another level. Even compared to that, last year he played amazing, but he's even going to have to play better.
But again, he didn't. He had somebody on his team that completely dominated Pau Gasol. I don't think he has another guy on his team that can completely dominate their matchup. Who's
going to be guarding Blake? Is it going to be Zach, or is it going to be?
I mean, it depends because DeAndre Jordan, all he's going to do is jump. And Marc Gasol's more healthy right now. I'd be shocked they put Mark on Blake because Blake is. If you pressure him, he's off on the post. If you just don't touch him at all, he's fine. But if you actually get up on him, he gets bothered and he misses, even with guys that are way smaller than him.
If you force him into a jump shot, which his jump shot is terrible, he's very
second worst in the NBA.
And as far you were talking about his mechanics from the free throw line, and you brought up the Shaq analogy, and I could definitely agree with that. They kind of have the same problem with. They kind of hesitate before they release it.
I wasn't even talking about just the free throw line. I was talking about he doesn't seem to be wanting to work on it at all.
It doesn't go in. When it doesn't go in, it's very deflating.
But yeah, if the Clippers win this series, I'll eat my words. Chris Paul's the point guard, all that business. But I don't see how they can unless they get as hot as the Mavericks did last year shooting threes. And they probably had the hottest playoff shooting 3 streak of all time. They'd have to top that. I don't know if Caron Butler's still hurt, but he's going to be slowed with that injured hip.
When he hit the cameraman?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks.
I don't like. The only way that I could see them winning a game is Chris Paul goes insane and somehow can get around Tony Allen. And I don't see that happening.
He played amazing last year in the first round. If he could do that again, maybe they have a chance. And he kind of turns it up for the playoffs. But could you see them as far as potentially having a lot of problems? Chris Paul getting very, very frustrated with DeAndre and Blake. I mean, because they're still learning. I mean, could you see that? Could you see him really, really getting? Could you see any problems?
Yeah. Unlike last year, you'll notice that Chris Paul never acknowledges the coaching in interviews.
Vinny Del Negro?
Yeah, he never acknowledges him.
Yeah,
never talks about the coaching.
I noticed that on the last NBA TV interview. He didn't even bring up his name.
No. There's a huge rift there.
But how come everyone keeps saying he's doing a great job? I'm always hearing that.
It's all Chris Paul. Chris Paul can make any coach look good because he's literally coaching on the floor.
I mean, have you heard reports that Paul is frustrated with Del Negro? Is anybody on
I've
this
heard
team
that the whole
particular?
locker room's frustrated with him.
Well, DeAndre Jordan is pissed because he doesn't play in the fourth quarter.
He didn't play in the fourth quarter because he's a worse free throw shooter than Blake.
Well, you got to give Del Negro credit for seeing that, though.
Anybody could see that.
But at least he's doing
Stevie Wonder could see that. I'm not going to give him credit for something like that.
Well,
No.
oh yeah, here's the thing. If the Clippers could run, I mean, who do you think is a better running team, like on the break?
They have Rudy Gay. And
Because if you run, that's when DeAndre's at his best, If they can get some good
he
minutes
doesn't
out of
have to worry about his footwork. He can only do what comes naturally, and that's jump.
That's right. Is he like I mean, as far as, basketball skill goes, would you say this guy is probably one of the worst skilled players you've ever seen come to the NBA?
If he had gone where he was originally slated to go in pre-draft workouts,
At number 2, right?
number 2 overall, and he fell all the way in the middle of the second round, which tells you all you know.
Wait, tell me more about that. He was projected number 2 out of college?
Number 2 overall.
Based on the work he did in college?
No, but based on his potential.
Potential, okay.
Then once the interviews and worked out happens, and that's where a team gets to know a guy, who this guy is. Does he have the work ethic? Can he do this? And after all that process, answer was no.
Well, you know what his problem was? He's supposed to be a comedian. He's supposed to be like one of those guys that fools around all the time. So
He does. If you
maybe that's the problem. Him and Blake Griffin are best friends, and so maybe that's why he's not rubbing off on Blake the right way.
So you think they need to trade DeAndre Jordan, and Blake will all of a sudden become better, just like Washington?
Maybe so. I mean, I think it makes a big difference, who you hang around.
Yeah, it does. Washington split up the Nick Young and JaVale McGee club, and they closed out the season winning 8 out of 10 games.
Let's talk about JaVale McGee. Did you see his top 5 biggest screw-ups of the season that Shaq put together?
They didn't even have all of them.
Did you see it one time when he ran back to the other side of the court and John Wall had to say, "Hey, get back. We're still on offense." I don't know if you saw that.
I think everybody has seen that 5,000 times.
Oh, you've seen it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first time I saw it the other night.
Really? Man, you're under a big rock.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think 5 games would be generous for this Clippers-Grizzlies series.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You can see the Clippers probably taking Game 3 and Memphis wrapping it up at home, Game 5.
Yeah, I think 5 games is generous. 4 games.
All right. So yeah, I guess we spent a lot of time on that, but there's a lot of animosity there. I know with the Clippers. What was that? Number 2 is going to be taking on number 7. Oh shit, who's the number 2? All right, Oklahoma City, and the defending world champion Dallas Mavericks. Now obviously most people pick Oklahoma City, but even without Tyson Chandler, you don't want to play the defending world champions in the first round. I mean,
they're not the same team.
They're not the same team, but I don't want to go back to the Houston Rockets in 1995 when they were the defending champions and they were number 6 and they knocked off Utah in the first round. It's not the same exact situation, but still, I don't think you want to play the champions in the first round.
There was a chance of them not making the playoffs at all. They barely skated in. They've had.
Let's think about it though. Dirk has kind of been coasting, and they've still gotten it. I mean, they've still been playing pretty good.
Yeah,
they had the whole fiasco with Lamar Odom. Now they have that out of the way. I say they do have somewhat of some momentum heading into the playoffs.
I think they would have. The only shot they had is that if Meta World Peace's elbow had cracked Harden's skull.
Exactly.
And he wouldn't have been available at all.
Now, is James Harden, is he playing for the first game of the playoffs?
He's cleared.
He's cleared? All right. That's good to hear. But, I mean, the biggest problem Dallas has, obviously without Tyson Chandler, is who's going to fill in that void. Is it Brendan Haywood? Is there anyone else that could step in?
Ian Mahimi's had a really good season. Brandon Wright is actually starting to play to his potential. Who would have known that he'd finally go to a good coaching staff and play well all of a sudden? Yeah, I'm pretty sure Bryn Hayward's getting the amnesty off season.
Okay.
Pretty sure. Kind of surprised they didn't do. Actually, if they wanted to re-sign Chandler, they would have had to amnestied Haywood, which I don't know why they didn't do that.
And you said Jason Terry's out, guaranteed?
Jason Terry has openly talked about signing with the Miami Heat.
Why would he do that?
Oh, why would they do that? I don't think they're going to sign him because Ray Allen wants to go there too. And if you're going to have Jason Terry or Ray Allen, who are you taking?
That's a no-brainer.
And plus Steve Nash.
Yeah, maybe Nash will come back to Dallas. I never thought about that, but you still got Vince Carter. Obviously, it's not Vince Carter from 2001, and you still got Dirk. You still got a lot of firepower. I mean, Dallas has looked spectacular at times this season. At other times, they've looked downright terrible with Lamar Odom.
I believe the word is old.
Very, very old. Yeah, but come on, man. Oklahoma City. This team is. They kind of slipped, but they have the leading league. Kevin Durant leading the league in scoring officially. Kobe's not playing tonight, so Durant's going to end up leading the league in scoring. Westbrook, James Harden, just way too much firepower. I mean, they're way too young. But at the same time, I mean, let's think about it. Dallas beat them in the Western Conference Finals last year. So do they still have the experience advantage? Yeah. So it could. I mean, you could see Dallas pulling off maybe 2 wins.
Yeah, maybe. Again, that's all on Dirk. And like last year, they looked really bad in that Portland series until actually the game after Brandon Roy went off for the final time in his career. They went on that insane hot streak that didn't end until they were holding up the trophy. But yeah, I could see him possibly getting 2 games.
That was unbelievable, that game.
Yeah.
Just thinking about that.
Yeah.
Such a shame.
Now he's retired. Although now he might get the Kobe surgery and come back.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, is there really anything else we could... Do you want to talk about Westbrook and Durant and the shot selection?
No, I don't think it matters. This series.
Not this series.
No. That's going to be the next video whenever, 2 weeks from now. So how long this stuff's going to take?
And what about Scotty Brooks, though? I know you're not you kind of view him in the same light that you view Vinny Del Negro.
When you're talking about rotation, he's got a really good rotation. I think towards the end of the games, he calls isolations too much. I think they need to start running set plays, or at least pick and roll with Durant and Westbrook, or pick and roll with Harden and Westbrook, and have Durant sit in the corner. You just do something more than just standing around. They like literally the guys stand around while the ball handler just dribbles till there's like 5 seconds left on the clock. They do that at the end of every game. When it's I don't get it. Like clearly, it's never worked. Sometimes it does, but most of the time it's bad.
So he relies on way too much isolation with Durant. And Westbrook. Just not enough movement. Now at times it seems like the offense is dead until James Harden comes in there. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, he's a lot better point guard than Westbrook. But again, the point guard position's evolving apparently, and I just need to accept that.
I mean, but as far as Oklahoma City goes, could you see this being a championship caliber team?
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty, like we said at the beginning of the season, Heat Thunder finals.
I just don't know, man. Just a lot of question marks about Westbrook. I'm just worried about him. I mean, I'm just thinking back to some of those games against Denver last year.
Not this round.
Yeah, I know not this round, but I'm just saying down the road. I just don't know. And as far as their personalities too, like neither Westbrook or Durant really have that. Obviously I think they're winners. I think they have that winning edge. But as far as leaders, like who's the leader of this team though?
I think they'd say Scott Brooks.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. I'm just not sold on them yet. And I think the Lakers could beat them in the second round. That's going to be crazy, but I guess we'll talk about that later. All right, number 3, the Lakers taking on the Denver Nuggets.
If the Ramon Sessions trade had never happened, these seeds might be swapped actually. But in terms of likelihood to win this series, but Ramon said again, this is all depending on Kobe letting him run the team.
You're way too high on Ramon Sessions. He's been in a huge slump lately.
He's still good.
He got benched for Steve Blake. Steve Blake came in and delivered. I don't know, man. Denver is not a team you want to play in the first round. It's who really scares me is Ty Lawson. I mean, talk about how underrated this guy is.
He's one of the fastest point guards in the league.
He's got speed.
He's got an incredible three-point shot. I wouldn't call him the best playmaker in the world, but he's fast as hell. And
Gallinari's finally healthy. If Gallinari never hurt his ankle, this team probably would have been maybe in the top 4 or 5. Maybe they would have moved up a little bit. Aflalo's playing good. What's the manimal? What's his name again?
Kenneth Faried.
That's right, Kenneth Faried. This guy got a great attitude. He's playing hungry. I mean, there's just a lot of deadly weapons on this team. I guess they don't really have a legit big man. I guess you got JaVale McGee now, who's he's a little goofy, but he
is a different player now that he's on this team. Again, funny that you take the goofball and strip away all the unprofessionals from around him and stick him with a good coaching staff, and all of a sudden he can play basketball.
That's right.
Again, that
you can make an argument that George Karl is the best coach in the game right now.
Yeah.
Other than Popovich.
I mean, what he does offensively, yeah. Defensively, this team is good.
So Meta World Peace is most likely he will not be playing in any games in the series.
No.
The Lakers going to have to rely on, I guess, maybe Jordan Hill or who else? Who else could step in and help out Artest? I don't know, man.
Is Barnes healthy?
Matt Barnes?
Yeah, is he healthy?
He didn't play last game against Oklahoma, I don't think.
Is he playing right now? Let me look.
Against Sacramento.
Yeah. Go Sacramento, need them to win. He is not playing. And wait. I know Ron Artest is not playing.
Yeah, but Kobe's not playing either, so I don't know how much we could look into it.
He might play, he might not play. Ebanks, even though everybody calls him there's a good reason why his name is the fake Trevor Ariza, and that he looks like Trevor Ariza. He's just not as good.
He's not as good. He's
definitely
not. He cannot shoot the ball from the perimeter, but he could rebound. Jordan Hill proved that he could be like, your garbage cleanup guy.
Do you want to know something about Jordan Hill?
See, I know he's not a very good player. He's not a very good passer. But
no, I wasn't going to talk about it. I was going to compliment him. He has a higher defensive rebounding percentage than Kevin Love.
Well, he hasn't played that much.
No, but still, do you know what that is? When you're on the floor, this is how many percentage of the rebounds you grab.
Yeah, but if the dude's not playing any minutes, does that really mean anything?
Yeah, it does. Cause
it's just he played. How many games did he play this season? He just played against Oklahoma. That's it, right?
Yeah. Again, he's really talented.
Yeah.
I think they'll be fine. But again, he's just back up. He should be taking Josh McRoberts' spot in the rotation because that guy's way too inconsistent. Sure, he's real.
Oh, he's terrible, man.
Yeah, he's a hustle guy.
Troy Murphy's been really inconsistent as well. A lot of those pickups were very questionable to me. But yeah, I mean, how much is Ron Artest missing is going to hurt them in the series?
A lot.
I mean, Artest has been playing very, very good. He got back in shape. He finally dunked the ball. Do you have any? I mean, people might want to know your opinion about what happened with James Harden. What was your take on it?
He elbowed the dude in the head. There's a
What
question.
what did he say? Was it erratic passion or was it doing on purpose?
He, he's claiming it wasn't on purpose. That was way too deliberate.
I wasn't watching the game at the time. Did Harden do something to him the previous play, or was it just spontaneous?
He might have said something, but there's no excuse for
There's no
cocking.
excuse for it. But let's keep in mind Harden was tapping him on the head as he was walking by him, like kind of antagonizing him. So I'm not saying he should have done it, but it's not like Harden was peacefully trying to ignore him.
I still don't think that's uncalled for.
But yeah, I know. I mean, that's the most vicious elbow shot I've ever seen. I mean, he's lucky he's still alive. I mean, that was crazy.
Uh, and David Stern all but said that he would have gotten 10 games if this was not playoff time. And 7 games during this time of year is way more.
Yeah, people were thinking he got off pretty easy. So.
Not really considering the
The
time
thing
of
about
year.
it is, if the Lakers and Thunder play in the second round, he'll be back for that. I mean, could you imagine the heat he's going to get in Oklahoma?
If that makes it there, this is yeah. But yeah, that they should beat Denver.
My other problem is Andrew Bynum. He's not playing in the fourth quarter. He's kind of a weird relationship he's having with Mike Brown right now. It's just I don't know what's wrong with Bynum.
I think he paid way too much attention to Shaq and not the good things.
So it's kind of gone to his head.
Yeah, I don't know if Shaq talking him up has really got it in his head. Oh, I am the best big man in the league. He's just like, I don't ever remember him acting this immature before this year. Do you?
No, not at all.
I don't know if that was Phil Jackson keeping
Jackson
him in
had him under
check.
control. He wasn't really even playing that much with Phil Jackson. He was always getting hurt, so I think that had a lot to do with it. But I don't know. In this series, though, if Bynum is effective and Kobe has his shot going, I don't see how the Lakers could be beat. And on top of that, Gasol's hot right now. I mean, he played awesome in that Oklahoma City game. So if he just plays, with some sort of fire, I still think the Lakers could pull this off in about 6 games.
Yeah, but again, I don't know I don't know if Fareed has played against Gasol.
And no, I think Gasol will be fine there. But like I said, I think the biggest concern the Lakers have to worry about is Ty Lawson. I mean, you could put Ramon Sessions on him, but I think
No, he's not. They don't have a guy defensively that can stop Ty Lawson. Besides collapsing on him in the paint and fouling the shit out of him.
So yeah, Bynum and Gasol's got to play some good help defense. So,
which they didn't last year.
No. God, that was embarrassing against Dallas. I mean, kind of glad they got rid of Fisher. I mean, it's kind of sucks for Derek Fisher to win all those championships and then boom, they just let him go right before the trading deadline like he's a piece of shit. But honestly, with the way Barea smoked Fisher last year, they had to do it.
Yeah. I mean, Sessions will probably be able to stay in front of him a little bit before he gets
he's at least somewhat. He's still in his 20s. I think he's only 27, 28. Lawson's like, 24? So it's not a total age mismatch. So, yeah. So, I mean, I guess that's pretty much it. Did we cover everything?
Is that round 1? Is that the first round? Was that everything? Is there something we're forgetting? 4 or 5 Clippers, Grizzlies?
Now, tell me honestly, if someone put a gun to your head and said, who's going to win the West, who's going to win the East, I think you would probably tell me San Antonio and Miami. That's what I'm guessing.
I'm still leaning Heat Thunder. I think they'll finally break through this year.
And you are a not a big Kevin Durant fan, but you're more high on Russell Westbrook.
I don't know about that. Because
last year you were so anti-Durant. It was like,
Yeah, because he didn't move. Like, everybody was talking about how Russell Westbrook didn't. Again, this has to do with how they play at the end of games, but there's no movement to their offense at all. And I really think that's
I mean,
a problem with Scott Brooks and not the
Westbrook and
players.
Durant really aren't. I mean, they're one-on-one type players, though. I mean, that's who they are. I don't know if they would really be that effective in a San Antonio kind of system.
You're going to tell me that Kevin Durant coming off screens wouldn't be great?
It could, but it's if it doesn't work, it's pointless.
Yeah, I think he'd be fine. I think he'd be better. Like, imagine if they had offenses, and you don't do this every time, but they had plays where essentially Kevin Durant's Reggie Miller, and he's running off screens like a madman.
Rip Hamilton, Reggie Miller type of thing.
Yeah.
That'd be incredible because he's so big. Him fading away, who's gonna even contest that shit? So
Again, yeah, if they don't get out of the Western Conference Finals, they can lose in the finals, and his job's probably safe. But if they don't win the Western Conference Finals, I would think he'd need to get it replaced.
and there's a lot of candidates out there. Flip Saunders,
Mike D'Antoni.
I think D'Antoni probably go to Portland, right?
I don't know where he's going. I still can't believe he got fired because of two dudes that are gone after this year. But whatever. Wrapping up, we got Heat winning. Did we pick all the higher seeds?
Yeah, we did. I think.
I bet one of those will be wrong.
I mean, considering this is the lockout playoffs, I mean, you would expect at least one upset.
I would. Again, the upset would have been if the Clippers had done their job, but they didn't.
Chris Paul, well, let's give some credit to Vinny Del Negro. At least he sat out Chris Paul. So they didn't even try to win that game. So
no, I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
wait, did we pick? We didn't pick any upsets.
No.
If there's one series that
I said
I would say probably the Denver Lakers series would be the one series where, or probably the Dallas Oklahoma. Those are the two series you would think.
Yeah, but they're not very likely. They're more likely than the rest, but still not.
And Knicks Miami. I mean, I know you don't think the Knicks have a chance, but when you look at the Knicks' firepower and their talent, I mean, it's pretty much they're the most talented team that's not. That's their fifth seed.
That's a bad team, yeah. If they're oh god.
What about Novak? What if he gets hot? What if Carmelo gets hot and you got Chandler rebounding? It'll be crazy.
How many things are predicated on what if? Like how many what ifs do you need to win? Granted, Dallas had all those fall for him, but
when you think about Baron Davis bringing up the ball with that bad back, it's just not too
throwing into Amari with the bad back.
Yeah,
yeah.
And J.R. Smith just got hurt tonight too. I don't think it's serious, but
so they get 16 possessions where they aren't jacking up a dumb shot. I guess that'll help them.
Yeah.
How does that guy get so many shots off? God, it's like no matter where he's at, that guy could have been on the Celtics in the 60s and he probably would have found a way to get his 16 shots up. I've never seen a guy that determined to shoot. Have you?
I'm kind of the same way. J.R. Smith just doesn't care. He thinks he can make it over anybody.
Yeah.
That's just him.
When
he plays good, though, he just makes that team so much better. I mean, they could blow if he gets hot. They could blow teams out. But when he was on Denver,
like imagine if he actually used his athleticism to get to the basket instead of just shooting threes. Imagine.
Well, he did that tonight and he got hurt. So,
maybe that's why he doesn't do it. I don't know, but yeah, I don't.
I'm really excited to see how Rose looks like in the first round. That's one of the things I'm really most excited about. And what if this guy just turns it on and all of a sudden he's just dominating?
He'd have to be full up of painkillers.
That's right. But he's well rested. Van Gundy thinks that's going to work against him. So I just don't know. I mean, he said you'd rather have repetition than rest at this point.
The way he plays, I mean, we've seen it all year. He'll be back 1 or 2 games, and then he does something and he gets hurt again.
It's just been weird. He didn't miss a game though. It was his first 3 seasons in the league. So
he missed 6.
He missed 6. Oh, okay.
Like they're talking about it, and like him and Blake Griffin, even though Blake Griffin hasn't missed a game since that first injury, they really remind me of a Dynamite Kid. And that the way they play, you can lump Brandon Roy in this category too, is that the way they play is exciting to watch. It's hard to defend, but it's very destructive to your body. If you don't change, you'll end up like Dynamite Kid in a wheelchair, Brandon Roy retired. Derrick Rose looks like he's on the fast track to that if he doesn't change his game.
I mean, the first game back, the guy's already doing spin moves right into the lane.
There's like no taking it easy. Like, I don't know if you just need to man up and send him.
He doesn't have a. He's improved his jump shooting, but it's not real. It's not as good as Westbrook's jump shot. It's just not.
Which is bad.
It's still a bad shot. I mean, he can't make game. He's made game-winning shots, but I just don't think he's really comfortable with it. He's never been a good free throw shooter. He's improved, but I don't know, man. I think that's probably the problem right there. If you can't shoot, you got to drive. So that's his mentality.
I think he's gonna. He's clearly further along than Blake because Blake hadn't blown out his knee again. But again, he's like Jordan changed the way he played. Like although Kobe hasn't never changed the way he played, and he just got his knees filled up with lab-created plasma and said, "Oh well."
Yep.
But I don't know if they have enough lab-created plasma for how much damage Derrick Rose has done to himself this year.
When you think about Rose, though, he's a point guard that has a scoring mentality. I mean, how many, Stockton, Jason Kidd, all these other point guards from the '90s, they were, even Gary Payton, they were more pass first, than shoot first. So it's we never really seen anything like Derrick Rose at the point guard position. Now, he's more of like a Stephon Marbury than a Jason Kidd. And, Stephon didn't last very long in the league either, so you might have a good point.
Like, I'd hope somebody would talk to him. And then he's going out and saying quotes that the team doctors are wrong about stuff, so he's bullheaded.
Maybe he should go to Phoenix then, if that's the case. I heard their doctor's supposed to be the best.
I don't know. I mean, he'd have nothing to learn there now. He'd be the number 1 point guard in the roster.
And let's. I mean, I guess briefly. I mean, got to say, Kevin Love. You got to feel bad for him. If Ricky Rubio didn't get hurt, I'm sure they would have gotten in.
They would have been in the playoffs. And since the Hornets have their draft pick, I'm happy Ricky Rubio and Kevin Love got hurt.
He's not getting any love for Rookie of the Year. It's I'm seeing all Kyrie Irving votes.
He got hurt. It's simple as that. If he hadn't gotten hurt, like honestly, I think Rubio and Irving has the potential to be this century's Magic Bird.
Really?
Yeah, because Irving had a similar quote where he was.
Rubio just got hurt, about a month ago. It's not like, but at that point, the Cavs had no point in making the playoffs anyway. They had no chance.
A month ago?
I don't think.
When Irving got hurt, they were in the 8th slot.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess.
But Irving had like a quote where he was bummed that Rubio got hurt because he liked comparing his box score to his, which is very similar to how Larry Bird used to do with Magic Johnson. And they will, 2 or 3 years, they're probably the two best point guards in the East.
Yeah.
And it's going to be incredible watching them battle. But
I mean, you see how far Minnesota fell once he went down.
God, like they're a different team. Like, and another thing a lot of people don't talk about Rubio is how good he is defensively. And I told you that up front, and
Yeah,
you didn't see it.
I mean, he's kind of shook Jeremy Lin up that one game. I mean, that's not the reason why the Knicks won that game.
No.
More so because of Novak and just the ball movement.
Yeah, but like they lost a bunch of stuff offensively and defensively when he went down. It was kind of incredible.
Right. Well, who replaced him? Luke Rittenauer.
And he got hurt too. And then there's JJ Barea.
And he was hurt the whole season, basically.
Yeah.
And let's talk about Steve Nash. I mean, where do you see this going next year? I mean, I'm really excited to see where he's going to go. It seems like he's pretty much done. I mean, I legitimately felt like that was his last night in Phoenix.
Yeah. Given that he was hugging the coach, hugging everybody when he came out of the game. He said that wherever he goes, he wants a 3-year contract. If Dallas,
so we see, Dallas and Miami seem like the two options. What about the Knicks?
they don't.
They don't have any space, right?
Yeah, they don't have enough.
They don't need a point guard when Jeremy Lin comes back.
Yeah, we got to take Jeremy Lin over Steve Nash. It's a winning shot right there.
I think I would, only because of the age factor. But Nash in Miami, that's a pretty. That sounds pretty. Crazy.
You take LeBron and put him off ball. God, plus for a God, they're gonna be terrifying next year. Win or lose in the finals. Then again, we're gonna be talking about this stuff round 2 whenever all this stuff wraps up. We can save that till we can save a bunch of the stuff till last year, but
yeah, I was going to bring up Darren Williams as well. It seems like Darren Williams and Nash are the 2 biggest free agents.
Darren Williams, the thing with him is it's all dependent on what happens with Dwight.
So he really wants to play. Why does he want to play with Dwight so bad? Because that's really the only other guy.
Dude, all I'll have to say is this: Darren Williams, Dwight Howard pick and roll. Tell me how to stop it.
Well, considering the herniated disc, I don't know you just don't know now.
I don't know. I think he'll be fine. I mean, he's not trying to play through it. I actually did try to play through and screw himself up worse, but yeah.
Maybe he needs to lose some muscle. Maybe too much upper body weight.
I don't know. But yeah, but again, we can save a bunch of this stuff once the season's over.
Not a big fan of. I mean, obviously on the pick and roll. I mean, you made a good point, but I still think he needs a lot of work, Dwight.
But yeah, I guess that'll about wrap it up until week and a half, 2 weeks, however long it takes for these.
It takes about a month to get done with the first round because you get the first 2 games and then they wait like a week for game 3.
Not this year.
Maybe not this year, but that's how
it is a day between every game.
All right, good.
40 games and 40 nights is what it's called. That's literally what
we're in store for something special. I really think so. It's even though we didn't pick any upsets, trust me, this is going to be very, very unpredictable. You're going to see guys really step up.
They even say that at the end of a prediction video. Oh,
I'm telling you, man, you really don't know. I mean, don't be surprised if the Knicks win this series. They're playing. How ironic is it? They're playing Miami again the next time that there's a lot.
They're 2 different teams.
Yeah, but it's kind of funny though.
Did that Heat team have 2 of the top 5 players in the game?
Had Alonzo Mourning and Terry Porter.
They were 2 of the top 5 players in the game
in the East.
Yeah, but I'm talking like the whole world.
No.
But
Wade is kind of. I don't know. There's something about Wade this season that I just don't know.
Don't do it again. Like, you're starting to sound like people last year when Miami was in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, you're so down on Rose, but what about Wade? I mean, he's pretty much taken the whole season off as well.
He has not taken the whole season off.
Maybe half the season.
He has not missed half the season. Derrick Rose hasn't missed half the season either.
Well, I'm just saying, it feels like it's the same kind of absence.
All right, we can get done with that.
Let's wrap it up.
That's our first round
Edit at
predictions.
the end of this stuff.
I guess you could. Anyways, that's it for us. We'll be back whenever round 2 gets set up.
On my account, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, there's really nothing else to say.
No.
I mean, like I said, man, it's going to be a great playoffs. Just it's going to be nothing like it. I'm telling you, it's going to be crazy. And don't expect. Just expect some upsets. I guarantee you, something's going to happen.
I had one, but then it didn't happen.
And we'll see how Chris Paul responds. I'm really interested to see if he can really carry the Clippers.
Tony Allen, bro.
So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess you can stop it.